Annie Carney, join us in watching a little bit of a refresher in what has happened in the past to former members of the Trump circle when he makes the decision to hit the button and distance himself from a slew of different people in his life.
David Duke, okay? I never met Putin. I don't know who Putin is. James Comey. I hardly know the man. Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time. I don't know Matt Whitaker. Matt Whitaker worked for Jeff Sessions.
Michael Cohen. Tell me about your relationship with him.
Well, he was a lawyer for me for one of many, not somebody that was with me that much. Gordon Sondland. Let me just tell you, I hardly know the gentleman.
What conversations have you had with Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman?
I don't know those gentlemen.
So, Annie Carney, in plain English, what's that about, what we just witnessed, that aspect of this man's personality and his being?
It's about survival. And the minute it looks like someone close to him is going to cause him trouble, he cuts them off. It's been interesting to watch that one person he has not pulled the I hardly know him card with ever, even though many White House officials wish he would, is Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, who has caused him a ton of problems, not just with regard to Ukraine, but you'll remember with regard to the Stormy Daniels story. Rudy has gotten him in a lot of trouble, and he always continues to be close to Rudy. But this is the general pattern of when someone gets in trouble with the law who's close to Trump, Trump distances himself.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.